Hi everyone, welcome to my video, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make your own yarn using wool fiber and a spinning wheel. And then I will also show you how to make this little yarn swatch of your hand spun yarn. It is wonderful and I'm very excited to show you my little process. Hope you enjoy it. So the reason why I need to hand spin a lot of yarn is because I'm planning to knit an Edwardian biking sweater, sports sweater. That's why I need a lot of yarn and I need to spin all of it. I decided that I'm gonna be hand spinning it, so I'm not gonna be going and buying new yarn as I have loads of yarn that I already spun. The only problem that I'm having right now is trying to figure out the thickness of my yarn that I would require, because on the pattern it says sport weight, but obviously I'm using a totally different type of yarn. It's also wool, and I'm trying to make multiple swatches. And as you can see here, this is one of my swatches. This one is actually perfect, but obviously matching the thickness of this yarn to my newly spun yarn is gonna take me a while because of the fact that I did spun this yarn a while back, maybe like 3 months ago, and now I'm spinning again, so the thickness of the yarn will vary depending on how much I spin. What will you require to spin your own yarn? Here is my little basket of everything that I have for spinning. I've got yarn that I already spun. I've got little accessories that you don't really need for now. Very important, what you will require, the first thing is some fiber. This one is Corriedale fiber. I prefer it to other types of fiber just because it's a lot easier to spin with it, and also because it's cheaper to buy. But this one's still wool, so it's perfect. As you know, wool yarn in general is very costly, so it is a lot cheaper to spin your own yarn than wool yarn than to buy wool yarn from the shops. You will need your fiber and you will need something to spin it with. You can either have a spindle. There are different types of spindles, but today what we're gonna need is a spinning wheel. So a fiber and the spinning wheel will create this. Now I have made 2 bobbins with a single strand yarn. This is the first one, this is the second one. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to ply them together so that I get a 2-ply yarn. And I hope that it's gonna be similar to this one, because I really want it to be similar thicknesses. And what I'm thinking is I really want to match it to this gauge swatch. Because, as you know, I don't have enough yarn, so I'm trying to create more and hope that they're very similar gauge, which I am trying to do, as my previous one was 2-ply, but obviously I plied it 3 or 4 months ago, so I don't remember how the single thread looked like, but it definitely looks similar to this one. So I really hope that my next gauge swatch is going to be very close to this one. That would mean that I'm just going to spin all of my yarn in a similar way. And if not, I'll try my best to match it somehow, maybe by like adding more yarn together. It's gonna take a while to figure it out, but I'll definitely figure it out at some point. It's time to ply this yarn on itself. I decided the other way. I decided that because the Lazy Kate didn't work.
Okay, I need to explain. So I feel like some contents is required because not everybody understand what is a Lazy Kate. So Lazy Kate, this is a Lazy Kate, and you use a Lazy Kate to apply your yarn. And because I didn't want to spend more money on a Lazy Kate, because I didn't want one, or I didn't have one and I didn't want to spend more money, I decided to DIY my own Lazy Kate. So I have done it by using a shoebox. I used some metal straws. So this is how it looked. And what happened, it didn't work because I feel like my one ply yarn was actually very energized. So what happened is it started to tangle between each other, so both of the strands were tangling before even getting to my spinning wheel, so I had to do something else. I decided that this method is not going to work, so I wanted to try a different method of center pull. So I'm going to use one ply yarn to apply it on itself.
I am changing it all, and I'm gonna do the same way as I was doing it all the time. I'm gonna apply this yarn on itself. As you can see, it is quite nice.
More explanation required because I am very annoying. So this method also didn't work. Center pull method usually works for me, but this time it didn't work because, again, very energized yarn. Energized yarn means that it just likes to tangle a lot, and it did tangle a lot. So instead of me getting a very smooth and nice ply, I only got yarn barf, and it was very annoying, and I actually will tell you about it a bit further on, but I just wanted to tell you that, again, this method didn't work, though usually it does work. And I had to come back and also tell you that there will be a lot of background footage of this because I decided that I'm not going to put it into the main video because it's just going to be very long. Instead, it's going to be its own separate video where I'm just very annoyed and everything is falling apart and nothing's working. That usually did work for me, but you know what, this is yarn magic, and some days it does work and some days it doesn't, and that's okay. So I did learn a lot from this experience, and this is me from the future talking probably like 3 months later about this whole situation that happened a while back, and I feel like there were a lot of new things that I learned, and I am grateful that I actually decided to get myself a ball winder and not just, wind it by hand, because spinning takes a while and winding it by hand also takes a while, so it's just better to save some time on one of the things.
I finally figured it out. So what I made is a ball. So I used my ball winder and I wound one of the bobbins onto with the ball winder, and here's one of the cakes, and then I put it into one of the little bowls, like a dish, and then I did the same thing with the second one. I separated them kind of like here, so one of them is here and then the other one is on the other side, so that I don't have any of the barf happening. The first time I tried it, I have tried the center pull method with one of the bowls, and basically I end up with yarn barf, which wasn't great. So this one I did figure out well, and I also figured out that I'm quite happy with what I have right now. And yeah, I think it's going quite well for everything that kind of went wrong before, but now it's all good. And this method actually helps my yarn not to tangle as much, which is very good, which is what we want. And also this yarn is quite fluffy, so I think my theory was right, and it became quite fluffy. That was hard. That was a lot of spinning. I have been spinning for maybe like an hour or two, and my bobbin is now full. I'm gonna lift it up a little bit. So my bobbin is full, and I still have loads of yarn left on my cakes. So I've got a little bit here, and then I've got a little bit on this one. What I'm thinking is I'm not gonna fill this one because I don't have much space anymore in here. So what I'm gonna do is I probably need to separate them into two different yarns. So yeah, this is what happens when you have a small bobbin and a small flyer on your spinning wheel. When you ply and you want to ply, especially when you want to ply from two bobbins instead of like plying it from one bobbin onto itself, then you get loads of yarn and you don't know what to do with it. So yeah, got loads of yarn here. As you can see, it is full. I'm gonna separate it. That's why I want a second spinning wheel. The one that has a bigger flyer, or I could get myself a bigger flyer, but it needs to kind of fit here. So like, do you see there's like a little bit of space? So yeah, I don't know yet. I'm not thinking of getting another flyer, but I'm thinking of getting another spinning wheel just for that purpose. But I like this yarn. It looks quite similar. Ooh, where did my yarn go? Quite similar to my yarn that I've spun recently, and this is the one that I have been kind of making it similar. Yeah, definitely the twist is there. Very similar degrees of twist, which I'm very glad. I kind of do it by the eye, though I do have that little thing where I can check the twist percentage. How do you call it? Twist, the degree of the twist, the degree of the angle of the twist. I actually don't know how it's called, but yeah, I just kind of do it by the eye, and it looks all right. It looks what I like in my yarn. Very nice. Oh, I actually didn't check whether it's balanced or not. Oops. Well, I should have done this like a lot earlier. I don't know. Is it balanced? Looks not so much. It it isn't as much balanced. I am okay with it because we can always kind of wash it, and then, I mean, I like it being twisty. I don't know. I'm okay with this. Yeah, it's definitely twisting. It definitely has a lot more energy. Let's take some of the twist. Well, I don't think that's a good idea anymore because I've been spinning it like that. Is it a bad thing? No. I like it. I got this cool wooden niddy-noddy from Etsy. I think it was like an antique or something, but yeah, it's quite cool. It is all like carved out of the wood. It's very pretty. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna we got the yarn. I'm gonna wash it and then I'm gonna put it into a cake, and then hopefully I can knit a swatch, and then it's gonna be a similar swatch to what I got with other yarn, and if not, we'll think something through.
The finishing step is to wash your yarn in warm or lukewarm water, and also adding wool conditioner. This will remove all the excess oils from the yarn that you have spun. Next is thwacking. Thwacking is hitting your yarn very hard, and this makes sure that your yarn will bloom and become a bit thicker than your original yarn weight. And snapping evens out and sets the twist. Here's a final look of a gauge swatch. I hope you liked this video and enjoyed the process of creating yarn and then creating this beautiful swatch. And if you like this kind of video, please subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye everyone!